Hey, this is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday. It's February 11th. This will be our chart lesson for today. Um, Hopefully you can see this is a really strong trend here. My target was, that's what this line here was, 18.17 and 3/4. And you see we got a little bit higher than that, but this is a really strong trend. And we could still go higher than that yet, but that was my first target this morning. But before we talk about the trades, it started out looking like it could be a trading range, but I mean, really, we were up from a little bit before 8 o'clock all the way. We're just barely off the highs here at 2:30 my time. So um, this is my second time to do this today. The first time I got interrupted and I forgot to restart my sound and talked for 15 minutes with no sound. So I'm starting over. Um, I'm going to try not to shorten it. I'm not going to try not to shortchange you today. I do want to talk about something here, and I'm going to move this out of the way here. And not to, let me preface this by saying that, I don't want to rub salt in anybody's wound, but there's a good learning opportunity here today. I got an email, and I'm not going to call anybody's name, and he may not even watch this. Because I know he's kind of down and out right now. And but I've been there. I know the feeling, and once you hear the story, you probably say, hey, I've been there too. But I got an email from him earlier today, and I'm just going to read you his email. Again, I'm not going to call anybody's name, but and I hate to even, like I said, I'm not trying to pour salt in his wound, but I'm using this for a learning opportunity for others. But he sent me a copy of his chart, and he sent me a little email. He says, I got short while still in the tight range, betting we would fall out and go to the 21 EMA, which his line of thinking was right dead on. He said it worked out. I hit my target and I'm done for the day. I did not reverse and go long. And then he goes on to say I have to beat my counter trend tendencies out of me. I will get burned if I keep doing it. Hope your day is going good. And then he signed out, gave me his name and signed out. And so he recognized that he counter trend traded. But his reasons for going short were right in here. I don't know exactly where he went short. He just pointed an arrow to this area, and you can see there was enough movement. And I've even got one trade here that I listed as aggressive that is short. So because it looked like a trading range day, and so there was a reason to go short there, and it would have worked. And I'm assuming that's probably exactly where he went short. He might have got short a little bit higher up here. I don't know. But this was looking like a trading range day, so there's a reason, but this is why I usually wait on second entries off these highs, because that's a better opportunity that's going to work for you. And if you take the first entries, you might get burned. But anyway, he was done for the day. And the rule, there's two rules that are pretty straightforward. One is we don't counter trend trade, which he recognized that he might have done that, and said he had to work on that. And then secondly, once you hit your target, unless it's a strong trend day, I've kind of prefaced that rule lately saying that, hey, if it's a strong trend day and you're buying with the trend, more power to you, because it doesn't take but one or two good trades on a day like this that keep going to make you a lot of money. But otherwise, once you hit your target, stop for the day. Well, he was done for the day. He told me that. He says, I have hit my target and I'm done for the day. That was his exact words in his email. Well, I'm going to read you an email he sent me a little bit later. That was at 10 o'clock this morning. So he sends me another email at 1:17. Mac, I am caught short. Do you think we are going down from here? So let's see where at 1:17 prices were way up here. So, of course, I wrote him back and said, no, I got a target of this right here, 18.1775. And you see, we not only got there, we went a little bit above that before we turned down. So, here we are, 3 hours later than he was supposed to be done, and now he's short. Then just a few minutes later, he sent me another email saying, I got short down at 1808. So he got short in here trying to do exactly what he did right here. Notice that. It looks very similar. So that's what happened to him. He got short right in here, probably right in there somewhere, trying to do exactly what he did over here. It worked here, so it encouraged him to try it again. And guess what? This time it didn't work. Last time he probably got lucky. This time it didn't work. And he writes me saying he's still short at 1 o'clock way up here. So, not only did he counter trend trade, he didn't exit at his 2 point stop, and he's let it take, from 1808, he's already, 6 points, 7 points higher, and he's still hanging on. That's a huge mistake. And then he sends me a picture of it there where he was short at. And then finally at 143, which is, right in here, somewhere right in here, right before my target that I had, he sends me an email and says, I lost it all, I'm done. So I don't know if that means he blew his whole account out or if he just lost his daily target. I'm guessing he blew his whole account out, which, if he's, I don't know how many, he didn't say how many contracts he's trading, none of that. So, but again, I don't do this to rub salt in his wound because I know he's feeling down and out. But I think if he sleeps on it a few days, and the sad part was he was really getting better at trade. He wasn't ready to be live. I've told him that a bunch of times. He's getting better. He's starting to learn. But see, now he's blown his account before he's really ready. And now that he knows that he's getting better, he doesn't have any money to trade with. So don't try to rush into trading live. Make sure, you need to be able to double a $10,000 or $20,000 sim account first, and then you might think about going live. Till you can do that, you don't have it down no matter how much better you're getting, because I promise you this guy had improved 1,000% since he first started emailing me. Maybe better than that. But he still wasn't ready. He had so many bad habits, and you see he's still trying to counter trend trade, and you can't tell me he didn't recognize this was a strong trend. He just got lucky right here, and he tried the same thing right here, and it didn't work. That's all it amounted to. And then he got trapped and didn't take his stop, and he blew his account out, where if he'd have just at least taken his stop, he'd have probably lost, $200 if he was trading a single instead of blowing his whole account out. He could live to trade another day. So keep that in mind. But anyway, we've spent about 8 minutes here. And again, I think if this trader sleeps on it a few days, he'll feel better about it. Get back on the simulator. Start putting your money aside a little bit each week or month until you got to, because it's going to be a while till you're ready to go live, and just save a little money, and then you come up with enough to open you another account, and you can start over, and maybe next time you will do better. If you don't try to jump in there too soon and you don't break all, if you're breaking all the rules right now, you haven't learned much. And I know it's mental because I've been there, and I do it myself. I've done it myself. I know I've been there, done that. I know how he feels today, and so I'm going to stop talking about it, because if he does watch the video, he's going to feel even worse about it. And again, I didn't do this to rub salt in his wound, but I'm hoping that maybe somebody else learned from it. So, but let's talk about the trades. Let me say first that we had a little light snow here last night, and so school was out and the whole town shut down, and we're not prepared for it. The roads were slick, so I didn't get here till a little after 8:30 today. So these first couple of trades I'm going to talk about, I was not here when they were going on live, but I'll explain to you what I see after the fact, just kind of like we do anyway. But it looked like a trading range day. Here's your overnight move for the most part. It's not, but from 94 to 1804, basically a 10-point move there. There's 2 legs up, and then you get a couple, and then you basically get 2 legs down, but you got 2 legs in the first leg, and then a correction and another leg down, and that bounces right off the overnight lows, and we reverse and we head back to the other side, except we break on through and keep going. For whatever reason, the market was bullish today. And so, we're back above 1800 now, and we're almost 20, we've been as high as 20 points above it today. So that's it's a huge move up from 1794 to 1819 today. It's 25 points almost. So It's a good move. This is a strong trend, so don't fool yourself and try to counter trend trade. But let me explain to you what I saw here earlier. This is looking like a trading range day, and then you got, if you draw this line off these first two moves here, and you drag it up, it kind of fits there off of these two swings here, so it looks right. But you got this tight trading range or tight congestion area. Look how flat the EMA is. Prices are up and down. Then we break out, and of course, what usually happens? It fails. It goes down, and it tries to break out or fail out the low side, but it goes a little bit further, and it kind of gets a measured move similar to that, and then it turns up. So it's the odds are we're pulling back to test this breakout area, the EMA, and probably coming back to the other side of a possible trend line. We went a little lower there and overshot it, so there's a good chance we might even overshoot it on this side. So I felt confident that, based on this being, look, prices are swinging back and forth. We were above, now we're below. Odds are we're going to swing back to the upper side, at least back to the EMA. There's plenty of room. I probably would have gone long above this bar, but definitely would have above that one. And you can see it was an easy scalp either way. And then it turns down right off that trend line. And you might have even thought about going short there, but I'd wait on a second entry because this is a trading range type day and we could go back up to the high side. So then it tries to go higher again and turns down right off that line. Just go short right there. Easy move, and you get kind of your second leg down. This is first two legs, but it's really one move and then a second move. And it goes straight down to the lows. You might have thought about going long here off of these lows on the second entry, but I think it's risky. There's not, this might have closed outside that bar. Maybe it didn't. Maybe this is up here a little higher. Maybe I've got it drawn, but, we really probably had a break right here. And if you draw that off the closes, you definitely got a break, and it fits really well. So I'm guessing that's it. Um, so you got to be careful about going long. The same reason you got to be careful about going short somewhere else, on the way up. You want to prove that we're not going higher. And you do get a second entry short right there. And it looks pretty good on my chart. It's kind of a double top. But just kind of wait, I don't know if I'd have taken that or not. But since it's so close to these lows, and the fact that we might have had a break, I think you got to sit tight. But if you took that, here's what you got to do. When this turns out to be a doji, and then you get another one right beside it, I'd take what I could get out of this and get out of it. You had a chance to get out of break even, maybe lose a tick or so, because there's a good chance we're going the other way. And then it actually did turn into a failed second entry short, and it turned down again. So there just weren't enough traders that were, most of them didn't want to go short here, but they weren't willing to go long yet either. But when it turns down yet again, it makes a little double bottom there, especially after it broke out of this. Notice all that resistance there. It made a higher high, and then now you got a double bottom, higher low. So then it's okay to go long right there. And then even then, probably only the most aggressive, smarter traders went long, but then it tries to turn down again, and then they've really got everybody trapped. Because there's a bunch of shorts that probably thinking they've outsmarted everybody here, and they didn't really, and it turns up, and then you can see that move, and that's because it's a trap. So you're better off. What I usually do, I explained to some other trader that asked me about this, even though I wasn't here, I couldn't tell you specifically what I would have done this morning, because that would be tempting to go short there. It really would be. Um, But what I normally do when you start trending in the other way, even though this is a down, you're looking at this downward channel, this is a good chance of being a trading range. And so what I'm going to do is wait on a second entry counting off the high, and we never got that. We ended up getting all these traps to the short side. So that's how I generally handle that. And I would wait on a second entry like right here. Notice we got a new high. You get a first entry, a pullback, a second entry, it fails. Then I might have thought about going short. Um, so I hope that makes sense. But by this time, you really got to be thinking, hey, we're probably headed back up here. This is a trading range day. And there really is a shorter term. I don't have it drawn on there. There's probably a shorter term trend right here, and you get a little break. You might need to draw it off that. You can see that you got a little shorter term trend. You get a break, a new high, and then you get one on the way down. You get a break, and then so sometimes it helps just to draw those shorter term trend channels. But then you're coming back, and you bounce right off of that trend line again there. Try to go higher. You pull back and get a second entry long. So instead of trying to count them off, since we're working down, I'm looking for a second entry off the low, and especially if it bounces off something like this, the EMA, the trend line, both working together. And it still doesn't look very strong, but it's headed higher. But when it can't turn down here and it just keeps chopping along, that's not a good sign. They're fighting to try to drive it higher. And but there is a second entry short right here off of this high. And it does look like a trading range, but there's no break of this trend line yet. That's what had me a little bit concerned. We don't quite have a measured leg up, but you may not get one if it's strong resistance and it's going to be a trading range or maybe turn into a down day. But really from this point right in here to right here, everything's been above the EMA. So, but just like the other gentleman went short and this worked, you're looking at this, hey, it looks like a trading range day. So there's a reason to go short right there. It's a little aggressive because it's not a great setup, but it works. And it's good for a scalp. And then you bounce right off that trend line again. So just go long. There's two legs down. Go long there. You're probably coming back up to test this again, but it goes on through. Then it turns into a breakout pullback long. And guess what? It bounces right off that trend line again. Just go long right there. And this time they really got everybody trapped and short, and look at it go. And this is, you're starting to get up here where not a lot of new traders are going to enter in long, and a lot are going to try to pick a top. And what happens to them? They get trapped, and they might, if they're scalping, they probably get out of it. But a lot of them are not going for 4 ticks. They're trying to get a few points out of it, and they just get trapped. And then you get a failed second entry. You really could have gone long on either one of these right here. But the fact that it just looked like a little, I wasn't sure that we had a second level here. It looked like we had a channel working up that maybe we'd overshot it. So there's a good chance we could come back down to the low side. But when you get the short trap, notice the new low, first entry short, pull back second entry short. Now you've got the trap. Just go long right there, and that's going long at the very high of the day, but you got a trap, and the trend is up. Look at that EMA. It's been up since way down here. Just go long there. And look at that move. They got everybody trapped, and it does the same thing right here all over again. It's just a repeat kind of pattern as to this. And but now you're bouncing off this median line, and now you're pretty sure you got one on top of that, so that's a second entry long. And then you got a failed second entry short. That's that repeat pattern right there. And look at it go again. And, now you're just sitting tight waiting till you either get a confirmed trend line down this way, or you get a bounce or another setup off of a support area. So, but it's late in the day. It's almost 3 o'clock. But that's what I saw today. I hope you learned something, like I said, from the trader. And again, I feel for him. I know how he feels right now, and my intent was not to make him feel worse. I don't know if he'll even watch the video today. He's probably down and out on himself. But if he did, I hope he learned something as well. But I hope all the rest of you learned from somebody else's mistake. And again, I'm not going to call his name or anything like that, because I wouldn't want to do that to him. So, but I know how he feels. Like I said, get back on the simulator and start working again and start saving your money. It's going to be months before you're ready to go. You're not anywhere near ready to be trading live. So, and if you're, if this story rings a bell with you and you hadn't blown your account yet, then you know what to do. I hope you know the right thing to do. Get on the simulator, quit trading live, and wait till you're ready to trade live. So, but I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you had a good trading day. I hope you didn't blow any accounts out today. And I hope maybe this trader didn't. Maybe he just meant that he met his target. He was his losing target for the day, so he had to quit. But it really sounded like he said he lost it all, so I'm guessing he blew his account. So, but I'm going to wrap it up today. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. and we'll see you next time.